Welcome to another edition of AUHSD Future Talks, show dedicated to our future of many of our 30,000 students. And there's a lot of concern about what the post-COVID-19 world is going to look like for them. And we are so blessed to have so many guests who have been committed to helping to develop a bright future for our young people, and including our next guest, pastor of Magnolia Baptist Church and director of Love Anaheim, Mr. Nathan Zug. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here, and I consider you a friend, and it's always good to talk with you.
Same here, Nathan. And Nathan is also an elected official. He's a board member, board of trustees for Magnolia Elementary School District, and he has a lot of roots with his own two daughters who've grown up in the area and been really committed to Greater Anaheim and to partnering with AUHSD on a lot of service projects. So, you know, this program is about jobs and preparing young people for jobs. And I thought, Nathan, you'd be the perfect guest to really expand on our fifth C, compassion and character and caring and love, right? And as a soft skill that is so needed for young people in their careers and in life. Why? I'm going to start with that question because why do you think that is something that is needed, and what connection do you feel it has to careers and life?
So we're never going to get away, Mike, as you know, from people-to-people interaction. No matter what career you pick or job you have, you're going to be interacting with people, and some careers more, some careers less. But so compassion and kindness is I would call it an essential quality that you can acquire and you can develop, and it can become a habit or a practice. And so this is only going to enhance your interaction with your coworkers, your bosses, your company culture that you're building. And it's actually going to be an attractive skill and a gift to have. It's going to be sought after. It is sought after, actually. So it's very important, and it will change the culture of where you live or where you work.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you and I, Nathan, we've known each other for a number of years, but really for me, it's your service ethic that you've created in Anaheim through Love Anaheim and through partnering with the AUHSD Serve-a-thon, which of course our audience knows well, that celebrates Martin Luther King's National Day of Service. And so let's talk a little bit about this connection to service and love and compassion, and your involvement in some of the things that you've done in Anaheim to promote Love Anaheim.
Well, I was asked to launch Love Anaheim back in 2016, and something I had to really think about. It was putting service to work in the community on a larger scale. I'd done it in smaller groups and in one organization. So I actually don't know if you remember this, Mike, but the first partnership I think I formed once I decided to start Love Anaheim was with AUHSD, because I had helped with the Serve-a-thon already and knew about it. And so I became an official partner. You were on our waiver. So it's so important to give back and to show your love and kindness by doing something. And these are things that are needed by the community or by individuals or by groups or organizations. And so just finding a way to serve it's an essential thing. And so for me, just finding the needs that were in the community or on a campus, let's say for a school or a neighborhood, for the city, things that fell through the cracks that just weren't getting done. Maybe they wanted to be done, but they weren't. So just finding those and mobilizing people in a way to serve and get them done. And so I've become good at finding the needs and putting together a team of people or a group to serve and make a difference with meeting those needs.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the specific things. I remember when I met you, you had a program that you offered through the Serve-a-thon to have kids paint fire hydrants in the neighborhoods, and not only brighten up the neighborhood by that using the artwork from the kids, but the painting the fire hydrants, painting the trash cans with their own art. Can you describe, because to the audience it sounds like, well, just painting fire hydrants, that just doesn't seem like a big transformation, but with the kids putting their own artwork on something, I think that was very meaningful. Can you share some of the stories that you have throughout these years with that project?
Okay, well, two different projects. With fire hydrant painting, we started as a partnership with Anaheim Public Utilities. As most of you know, Anaheim Public Utilities is our own public utility in Anaheim, and they own the water system and electrical system, and it's ours as a city. So we partnered with JROTC at Magnolia High because they had a leadership structure that could look at a map, identify the streets and all the red dots that were on the maps at fire hydrant. They came up with a plan and a timeline. And so we consistently painted hydrants during Serve-a-thon with JROTC at Magnolia High and other groups. There was other schools too. We painted probably 600 hydrants in that stretch. And I remember starting with Magnolia High in the middle of the dot, saying we're going to go around Magnolia High. And we painted probably a mile around in a square. The city shared maps with us, and we had a training process. And it was a lot of the things you would learn on a job, interacting with the community, having a plan, sticking with it, the particular way you paint a hydrant, 2 coats of paint. And then, so anyway, it was fascinating to watch JROTC take that on and use their system of leadership and giving back to do that. So we did that project for a number of years. We're still doing it with another program I have called Better Way Anaheim. So we're still painting hydrants. The other project was trash can art, and it was city parks that had graffitied trash cans a lot. And we asked permission if we could put a little kit of supplies together. So there's another aspect of, a job is putting a list of necessity items together and procuring those materials, and then having a rubric or a process to follow. So we had to do that with the city. We had to get a way of doing this and a process. So we would paint the can with the base coat, and then we would let people have freedom with their artwork. And we had a few rules, but they were all listed in a little notebook. And then we painted thousands of trash cans. I'm going to say across the city, there's 54 parks in Anaheim, at least last time I counted. And we painted in many parks these trash cans, and we had little kits, and we did it through Serve-a-thon. We did it on service projects that we did. And so for kids to express, or anybody to express themselves with a freshly coated coat of paint on trash can, and then put happy faces or just some artwork that they've come up with. It was fascinating to watch people contemplate and then plan and then actually execute the project. And then we also, last thing, this kind of morphed into campus trash cans. So then we were painting plastic trash cans at the school site. So we did city park trash cans, and it was just a fun way to give back.
What I like about these projects is they're easy to duplicate. They're simple, but like you say, there are logistic things that the kids learn. But I think most importantly, and I've seen this, where the kids, when you talk about artwork, it's the kid becomes vested in that artwork, right? And they, like when you drive by and you see the fire hydrants, and they're so colorful and nice. And same thing with the trash cans. I think they're ways in which young people can become vested in their community and say, see what I did, I painted that. So tremendous layering of building of social capital that you've done. And plus you have kids from different schools come together and different clubs, and they meet and kind of cross-pollinate friendships, which is so needed now, especially now. So you've gone from doing, really feel-good projects like that to being part of the Orange County Human Trafficking Task Force. And I know as a leader in the faith-based community, you've also taken a lead in that and raising awareness about human trafficking. Do you mind talking a little bit about that?
Well, one of the unknown terrible things about populated areas and tourist areas like Orange County has been is that there is human trafficking, and we often would not know about it. So Anaheim Police and Orange County took on that ugly topic of human trafficking and then put some groups together, and they formed the Orange County Human Trafficking Task Force. It's a long story, but they formed that with multiple law enforcement agencies and then service providers to help the gals, mostly the gals, after they exited that horrible predicament they were in. And then they realized that we needed a faith-based community because those folks were the ones coming to the aid with the service providers and law enforcement. So there was a faith-based component to it. We formed a group. We assisted the Orange County Human Trafficking Task Force. So what we did was just brought goodness and kindness and support to the process of someone exiting the predicament of being human trafficked. And we spread awareness. We did awareness events, or we still do them. And we actually partnered up with a couple of schools on this, and they took it and ran with it on their own. But just building awareness of what human trafficking is, how it can pervade people or places, and then working to make a difference in having it be less of a ugly thing that is there. So it was a good learning curve for all people, and especially young people, to learn to spot it and the sort of the signs of it, and then work to make a difference mitigating it. Yeah,
we've had sadly we've had some victims of human trafficking in the district, and like you say, in Greater Orange County, this is a problem. We've worked closely with Anaheim Police Department and raising that awareness because, growing up and when we were young, right, we were taught to stay away from strangers, right? People giving candy from their cars and stuff like that. And what the Anaheim Police Department taught us is that, we don't realize as parents that there are strangers coming into our household all the time through the internet. And this awareness is so important because oftentimes those strangers are impersonating young teenagers, and generally trying to prey on young girls, impersonating good-looking boys. And in fact, it's like a predator, a 50-year-old predator or whatever, trying to lure them into human trafficking. So this is a really important task force that you are part of to raise awareness, especially with our faith-based communities and across religions, but to raise that awareness with parents and young teenagers who are susceptible to this predatory behavior. So any other words on that, Nathan, before we go to because I have a whole list of things here. I don't know if we're going to get to them all, but
I have many hats, and no, just awareness is the main thing, and then jumping in to be part of the solution in a way that fits a person or an organization, so that together, collectively, if everyone's aware and does something, we're going to improve this ugly situation. So learn about it and become part of the solution.
So one thing I'm so impressed with you, Nathan, because you're like, people say, well, what could I do? I'm just one person. And you are such an epitome of a connector. You're one person that connects resources and people, and, and you create these synergies. Because, in Anaheim and as across America, we have a growing challenge with homeless, right? And you've developed this Pathway to Work program through Better Way Anaheim. Can you share with the audience what that's about?
Yeah, so probably 2014 or 15, I'll do this real quick. Anaheim police realized that, like other cities, that they had a high volume of calls, and that connected to a large amount of money that was related to homelessness. So we circled up at City Hall, and we got some folks in the room that could talk it over. Kingdom Causes or CityNet from Long Beach came, and we just tried to form a comprehensive wraparound service program, a series of programs that could mitigate homelessness. And you know, it's a lot of time and energy that is spent since 2014 in Anaheim, but out of it has come many service providers. Actually, the Anaheim Homeless Collaborative, which is 100 organizations or so, with the city's help, working on various aspects of it. So one of the heavy lift aspects of homelessness is jobs, and providing skills that can acquire jobs, and even part-time jobs. Part-time job might be something we go, oh, part-time job, but it's better than no job. And so part-time job is on a pathway to more of a full-time job or a full-time job. So 2015, Mayor Tate at the time had an idea from Albuquerque, New Mexico, that we could engage homeless individuals through some city funding and through some project-based stuff like Love Anaheim was doing. So we were asked to launch it. We did. We started with zero, and we built a program that connected with the Anaheim Homeless Collaborative, all around 100 agencies. The city funded the gift card, so we chose gift cards and a service project, a dignified service project like painting trash cans, fire hydrants, cleaning up yards, various projects that you finish and you look at and you go, look what I did. Something you'd come take somebody back to the park to look at your trash cans, like kids did with that project when we did it. So we launched this. To date, we've served over 1,000 homeless individuals. That's an unduplicated number. You know, the number of gift cards we've been out, over 1,000. 3 years old now. We launched part 2 of this program, which is embedding life skills and employment network to it. So we're out 4 days a week now with up to 5 individuals, different from COVID now, because we have, you know, like everybody, we have a lot of challenges with COVID, but we have our own vehicle. We'd identify projects with the city or with neighborhoods or with various places, and we train individuals how to do different projects and develop skills within them. It's project-based learning, basically. And then we teach them kindness. We teach them politeness. And I guess there's 3 things I found in the heads of A Better Way is improvisation, and measured intensity. And I'm forgetting the 3rd one now. Anyway, the ability to look at a situation, assess, change your plan a little bit, but actually accomplish the project. So we teach them these kind of skills and then turn them loose to do projects. And it's been a very successful program. We are out 4 days a week, like I said. And so this week, that group, Better Way, handed out this week and last week, 3,000 door hangers for public utilities, Anaheim Public Utilities, to needed neighborhoods for a program they were doing. And so they approached us. We said, yes, our group looked at the maps, they formed a plan, and they handed out these door hangers to those neighborhoods. This group is also helping at 4 food pantries a week at the moment. So there's groups doing food provision for food insecurity like you guys are. And so Better Way is helping each week at 3 to 4 pantries. And so they're improving the city while they're improving their own situation, and they're being paid for it and trained to be an employed person. So
that's awesome. That's tremendous. Yeah. And the minute or so that we have left, Nathan, you know, we have 30,000 7 through 12 young people. And what would be sort of your parting words of advice to our young people?
Well, I'd say wherever you are at school or planning for work, look around to see who needs some care and kindness. And while you're doing your skilled task or your trained task, put in kindness and care into it, and it will make a striking difference. don't be cheesy about it. Just do it as a normal function. And if you need help, there's people that can help you work on your kindness and put those in the mix, and it'll make a big difference.
Well, Pastor Nathan Zug, it is such an honor to be your friend and to to know someone who really lives a life of love, kindness, compassion, and service and dedication to our community. Thank you so much, and we look forward to inviting you back sometime. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure. And again, I count you as a dear friend also. And thanks for your work with AUHSD.